What is it like working on a project, quote unquote, from the people behind Witcher and Cyberpunk, and how do you continue your work knowing that that is the expectation you're heading into a project like this? How's that been?
Oh, it's great, to be honest. I mean, you know, it's like it's the continuation of something we start with our colleagues before, and we figure out our own idea how to develop, you know, our own area in the video RPG genre. What we wanted to do is like to create, you know, totally new protagonist, totally new the way how we approach, you know, the storytelling and the choices and the consequences, and create something which giving you experience more similar to the pen and paper RPGs than only video game RPGs. We are really excited, there is a creative passion, you know, in it, and we are hyped, you know, to deliver something special, something new actually. And this new world is really important because every artist needs a challenge to develop him or herself and to push the boundaries of what you can do. And for us, actually, this is the Blood of Dawnwalker, the really unique idea and something which will be something new.
And obviously, the Blood of Dawnwalker is your own original IP. And obviously, the thing with RPGs is, you know, there's usually a lot of lore and depth that comes up with that. So how tricky was it to develop this universe from scratch?
It took around 5 months to create everything and prepare to, you know, to the development. We start with Jakub Szamałek, our narrative director and the great writer. We worked before, you know, on the Witcher 3 and the expansions with Kuba. To be honest, it was easier than our previous projects because we had like totally freedom on what we want to do. We didn't like have this need to be close to what author thought or wrote, you know, in his books, like it was before, and we could, like, you know, shape this lore and this world for our needs and for needs of our hero.
How would you describe Cohen as a character, and to what extent will the player be able to sort of shape the kind of person he is through their decisions? Is he like a defined character? This is who he is.
The base, like the foundation of him, is defined. That he's a guy who was raised the village in the Carpathian Mountains. He worked before in the silver mines, and that's why he's sick. He has, you know, this lung illness, the silvers inside his body. And also because of that, when some stuff in the game is happening, the antagonist wants to change him into vampire. It's not succeed because he has the silver in him, and that's why when there is a night, you know, this influence of the sun is out, and, you know, the silver stopping transformation, but he has the vampire abilities. And when the sun is up, you know, the transformations going back because there is a silver in his body. And actually, that was, you know, our like first idea we create with Kuba. When you have different character at the day and at the night, you have two gameplay loops. You need to create the gameplay loops which are different, which delivers different experience for the players. And also, you know, when you think about it, you need to create, you know, the motivation for the players to use those two loops. And that's why, story-wise, we have time to save our family. You are encouraged, you know, to play as a vampire and as a human. Of course, you can skip it, but this is your own risk.
What was it like coming up with all the different hex abilities, obviously, that Cohen can use? And do you personally have a favorite that you'd recommend players try?
Oh, there's a lot of them, to be honest, and you know, and development of them was quite fun because when we start to think about the character and day and night, we wanted to make it, you know, different. That's why we developed the magic, which you can learn at the day, and you can use this magic to, you know, to speak with the dead, for example, and get some information which you can use to solve the missions and the quests you have in the game. You have a lot of combat spells which you can use. I like a lot mess the minds of people and, you know, and push them to attack their own friends because it's quite funny, and there is like a lot more, to be honest. I think that we managed to deliver these, you know, these loops different at the day and at the night, and you know, and there is always, you know, this temptation to just focus on the one, but it's more like finding almost two games in one when you're progressing, you know, through the story.
Yeah, I was going to say, for the studio's debut title, you are kind of making two games at once, so, you know.
But, you know, this is this step of evolution what we made before, because before we had like the main story, we had the choices and the consequences and the branches, and right now we have this actually without main story actually, because we open the game, like you have the main main goal, and every quest around it is the side quest, you can say, and you can shape, your own story while you're doing it. But when you're going to this quest, you also have these choices and the consequences, and it branch in some point. In addition, you have another layer which is day and night, and those choices, have different consequences while you're doing it. It's challenging. It's difficult, but as I said before, every artist needs, the challenge to progress, and we are really hyped with this idea, and we love it.
Do you think it would have been possible to make a game of this scale, because obviously Rebel Wolves is a smaller team, not using Unreal Engine 5, or would it have taken a bit longer?
I think it would take longer, and for sure a lot longer, because you need to write your own engine, and it would be more costly for sure. It's possible because previously with the friends from CDP we made it with the second Witcher, because the first one was on the Aurora engine, but the second one was on the Unreal engine. It's possible to do, but it's a lot more complicated.
You guys have been really open in terms of the development of the game. What was sort of behind that decision, and how invaluable has the player feedback been so far?
Player feedback is really important for us, and we're reading everything, and we try to adjust, the stuff to make it better and better in the game. You need to remember that when you are a developer, you see the game every day, and sometimes you lose, the distance to it. And this kind of feedback is really important, because we can react and think how to solve some things. And the reason why we showing the games openly is that we want to be transparent from the beginning in the communication with with the community. We want to have this feedback. We want to be clear what we are doing, how the game will look like, and how the loops will look like. We won't avoid people who will feel cheated or whatever. We're showing how the game look like, how you play this game, and this is what we will deliver.
I hope you'll indulge me. It's 10 years since The Witcher 3 released. I was just wondering, how do you look back in terms of that game's legacy, in terms of where we're at now in games? And do you have a particular favourite quest from that game that you could point to?
To be honest, my favorite quest is the Baron quest, most of people, but for me from different reasons. Because the source of this quest, not many people remember that, but we choose the main subjects which we will use in the quest. And the alcohol problem was one of these subjects, and it was because my father was alcoholic also, and I wanted to bring this subject to the more broad audience and speak about it, because I think that is important to show it. And this is my favorite question, this quest, because I have the personal connection to it. And when I'm looking back, I'm really proud of the team with who I managed to create this game. And I'm looking on the industry, and I think that people maybe looking on these stories more mature way from that part. They see that people like the stories like this, and maybe this is the influence we made.
Are you ready and prepared for all the different Cohen cosplays that you're going to see after the game releases?
We'll see, we will see. We already have the cosplays of the vampires, and they are great. Coens, we will see, what people will deliver.
We'll see, will they go human or vampire? Maybe both. What's one aspect of Dawnwalker you hope surprises people when they finally get to play it?
There is a lot of things, to be honest. Yeah. There is a lot of things, like a lot of people asking about about the combat. A lot of people are asking about the time, but I think that to be honest, it's really hard to choose one thing, because it's the combination of those things, and we have a lot of unique things here.